At this very moment, while the clamor of civilization fills your ears, there exists a silence that defies human comprehension. More than 23 billion kilometers away from us, a small structure of metal and silicon surges through the absolute vacuum at 60,000 kilometers per hour. There is no air, no sunlight to warm its chassis, nor any hope of return. It is Voyager 1, the furthest man-made object in all of history. In December 2025, this probe is not merely an engineering feat. It is a time capsule that refuses to die, a cosmic castaway that, against all odds, continues to send whispers from the frontier of the eternal. Subscribe and explore the limits of the cosmos with us. Join us on this journey from our solar system to the interstellar frontiers where these probes navigate today. To understand the magnitude of what we are witnessing, we must look back toward the shores of Florida. It was the summer of 1977, from the legendary Launch Complex 41 at Cape Canaveral, where these probes ascended over the Atlantic propelled by Titan rockets, never to return. At that time, NASA's most advanced computer possessed less processing power than the chip in a modern car key. Despite its importance, the Voyager is a surprisingly small structure for the ocean it traverses. Its 12-foot diameter parabolic antenna is barely the width of a typical street in downtown Seville or Miami. And yet, from that small surface, it continues to speak to us across the abyss. That endurance is no accident. These machines were built with a philosophy that seems forgotten today: absolute durability. In late 2024, Voyager 1 began transmitting gibberish, and many considered the mission over. But NASA, coordinating efforts from its command centers in California and maintaining the spirit of control that defines Houston, Texas, achieved the impossible in collaboration with the Deep Space Network. Engineers had to dust off 50-year-old manuals to reprogram software running on just 68 kilobytes of memory. They managed to activate backup transmitters that hadn't been used since the 1980s. It was a technological miracle performed by experts who, in many cases, are now over 80 years old. It is the longest and most difficult communication in history. A signal takes nearly 23 hours to reach Earth, and we take another 23 to respond. To catch that nearly imperceptible whisper in the vacuum, we depend on a tripod of colossal antennas spread across the globe. From the deserts of California to the Australian outback, passing through the heart of Spain. In fact, without the Robledo de Chavela station in Madrid, Voyager 1 would be lost forever in absolute silence. What does it truly mean to be outside the solar system? Voyager 1 and Voyager 2 have already crossed the Heliopause, the physical boundary where our sun's wind halts against the pressure of the interstellar wind. There, the environment changes. The radiation is different. It is the true cosmic ocean. What Voyager is detecting now is information that no other human instrument can capture. The sound of interstellar plasma, the echo of distant supernovas, and the true density of the vacuum. We are using these probes as our senses in the darkness. They are our eyes in a region where the sun's gravity is already a distant memory, and the light of our star is barely a bright point, indistinguishable from other stars to a casual observer. But the Voyagers do not travel alone. They carry the Golden Record, a time capsule designed by Carl Sagan and his team. It is a gold-plated copper disc containing greetings in 55 languages, music by Bach and Chuck Berry, and the sounds of Earth, a baby's cry, the wind, a heartbeat. This disc is our introduction to a possible future civilization, or perhaps our death certificate. The Voyagers will travel for billions of years. It is highly likely that when someone, or something, finds these probes, humanity as we know it today will no longer exist. It is our species' greatest act of faith, sending a message knowing that, in all probability, we will never receive an answer. But by doing so, we ensure that our existence is not forgotten in the vastness of time. Regrettably, time is running out. The Voyagers are powered by decaying plutonium-238. Every year that passes, they generate fewer watts. To stretch their lifespan, NASA has had to make painful decisions, turning off the heaters for the scientific instruments one by one. The cameras were turned off decades ago. The only things remaining are the instruments measuring particles and magnetic fields. It is estimated that sometime between 2026 and 2030, the signal will weaken so much that it will be impossible to distinguish it from the background noise of the universe. On that day, Voyager 1 and 2 will not stop traveling, but they will fall silent. They will become metallic ghosts, wandering in perpetual darkness, invisible to our telescopes and deaf to our calls. What will become of them? In about 40,000 years, Voyager 1 will pass only 1.6 light-years from a star called Gliese 445. In about 300,000 years, Voyager 2 will approach Sirius. But their long-term destiny is the most fascinating. The Voyagers are orbiting the center of the Milky Way, just like the Sun. Within 1 billion years, when our Sun has expanded and life on Earth is a geological memory, the Voyagers will still be there. They will be the only proof that once, on a tiny pale blue dot, there existed a civilization capable of dreaming of the stars. They are the loneliest human objects in history, yes, but they are also our greatest victory over time. As long as they continue their journey, we will remain eternal. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and leave a comment with your thoughts on the legacy of these probes. Thank you for joining us until the end of this exploration. We'll see you on the next journey.